that is south of a warm front boundary, or a stationary boundary, rather. And that is what we are monitoring very closely at this hour for the potential of some larger thunderstorms developing later this evening and into the overnight hours. But if we go back now to live first alert radar, let's go ahead and go back in here on the metro area, and we'll show you where that thunderstorm is right now, just coming into the downtown area right now, as it is also making its way across the river over into Council Bluffs. This has been moving northwest to southeast since it developed, and we are going to continue to keep an eye on it as it continues to make its way through the area. Let's go ahead and take you out live to one of our sky cams off of First National. There you see the Henry Dorley Zoo there in the shot, as don't believe the rain has reached the zoo at this point. But if we take a look on the opposite direction towards the north and west, a much different story right now. Not sure if that camera is... Can't tell if that camera may have taken a hit here. So let's go ahead and switch. Let's go to Children's Nebraska here and see if we can get an image. There you see some very intense rain falling. A lot of vivid lightning as well. Cloud to ground strikes as well with these storm systems as they've been pushing through the area. Already seeing a lot of lightning here downtown at the Blackstone. And there you see, right in the meat of the evening rush, some pretty heavy rain as well, likely slowing down traffic across the area. We'll take a quick tour here across the metro for you. Here we are at 60th or 90th and Dodge, rather, as the rain hopefully is beginning to let up out there, but still raining pretty good right now. And then further out at 144th, still some pretty good rain showers falling in that area. Not really having a major hamper on traffic, but likely slowing things down. Let's go ahead and take you downtown, and you can see visibility very poor here downtown, as that heavier thunderstorm is now right over the downtown area. As you can see, the sheets of rain really reducing visibility, especially at this altitude above the ground. This latest round of thunderstorms is going to be with the greater metro area here for a little while. There are additional thunderstorms to the west that have been developing. Right now, there is a slight risk for especially maybe some hail in the metro area tonight, but no major threat for severe weather for the metro area. That should stay well to our south. That is the good news if you are watching us here in the metro area, but still a lot of noisy thunderstorms to get through tonight. Again, we are keeping an eye out for what we're looking at to our south. You see there the severe thunderstorm warnings that have now been issued. We're going to go ahead and zoom in on those so you can kind of see. These have really just developed over the last 30 to 40 minutes, rapidly developing in a very unstable environment south of that boundary. Going to go ahead and see if what we can make out of these. We have seen a little bit of hail detected. There you see one hail core just south of the Nebraska border, another developing hail core further south into northern Kansas. That right now appears to be the primary threat. We're getting kind of a mixed bag of reports as far as wind is concerned, but we are going to be keeping an eye on that through the evening, as there is the potential for some tornado development, especially in far southern Nebraska. Right now, just not really able to make anything out from the radar site, but that is going to be a concern as we continue to move through the evening and overnight hours. Let's go ahead and put this into motion for you, and you can see there, you see the severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect until 11 o'clock for areas including Beatrice and points to the east over to Maryville. And then we do still have some strong thunderstorms here in the Omaha metro area that have remained below severe limits so far, but can't rule out the possibility of some small hail as they make their way from the west to the east. More development also north of the Fremont area that we're keeping an eye on. That appears to be moving roughly due east towards Blair and then into western Iowa. And then we will see what else may come of this through the overnight hours. Do still expect some showers and thunderstorms in the metro area later tonight. The hope, though, is that those will remain below severe limits. The main threat for severe weather, as you can see, in the area of that severe thunderstorm watch that will be in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. As always, if you have any questions for what we expect tonight, uh, feel free to share your questions on our Facebook comment section or on our YouTube chat. We'll try and answer those as best as we can for you as we get through a bit of a bumpy night across the area tonight. Looks like we've already got a couple of questions here. Kayla asks, any severe threat for Bellevue? Well, I don't believe so. I mean, there's a very, very minimal risk for the Omaha metro area. Could see maybe some moderate to large size hail approaching that 1 inch in diameter mark. But again, we're not really expecting any major severe weather in the metro area. That focus looks to stay to our south. And I'll try and show you here what I'm talking about. Let me see if I can draw this on the map for you. I'll try and show you what I mean. So we have got what's been largely a stationary front that has been just draped. Oh, and it doesn't want to draw itself quite right here. So I apologize for that. It doesn't want to cooperate with us right now. Let's we've had this roughly stationary front that has just been kind of sitting over the area, and yeah, it doesn't want to draw itself correctly for us, so I apologize for that. Let me try it one more time here. Well, I guess that's closer, right? So this is at times stationary boundary that we've been contending with across the area. And what we've been dealing with here, there we go. What we've been dealing with is, as you've noticed in the metro area, things have remained very cool and, of course, very wet with all the thunderstorms that have moved through. But we really haven't seen temperatures rise much at all. Right now, we're sitting at 47 degrees. But just south of that, where you see that boundary that is set up, it is substantially warmer right now. And that is what is fueling these showers and thunderstorms that have a much greater potential of producing organized severe weather. Let me take a look and see where we have an update on the temperatures. This is just in our area here, but if you take a look, there you see just 50 degrees in Lincoln, 52 in Nebraska City. Beatrice is up to 66, Falls City at 75, and so it's pretty clear that you can see where that that frontal boundary is kind of sitting right now, right around this area. And so that is where we are seeing the greatest risk for thunderstorms. Now, this front is expected to kind of meander to the north a little bit. And so the big question in terms of the threat tonight is how far north does it get? Right now, the Storm Prediction Center doesn't expect it to move too far to the north. In fact, they do expect it to stay south of Lincoln, Plattsmouth, and of course the Omaha Metro. But some of the storms that develop along and south of this front could move to the north and tap into that colder air and still produce some large hailstones later tonight. But again, a very, very small risk, just something that we're going to have to monitor further to the north here in Nebraska. That's still a possibility, but a very marginal, almost negligible, say 2% risk of that happening across the cooler part of Nebraska this evening. Let's go back now live to First Alert Radar. There you see the severe thunderstorm warnings to our south and west as those storms continue to gain intensity, building hail cores right now. No word on any reports of strong wind gusts. Just going to check that right now. And no official storm reports from those storms at this time. We'll go ahead and zoom in here on the metro area once again so you can see the stronger thunderstorms have already pushed off to the east from downtown, now over and north and east of Council Bluffs, right along the I-80 corridor, unfortunately, as well as Highway 6 in southwest Iowa. We do have another storm system, or another cluster of thunderstorms near the Elkhorn, Waterloo area right now, as well as another cell north of Blair making their way to the east. If we put this into motion real quick, you can see they are moving rather quickly and sort of redeveloping at times, similar to what we saw this morning. But again, no reports of any severe hail, winds, or anything else other than a lot of vivid lightning strikes out there, producing a lot of noise across the area. Michael on Facebook, thank you guys for being on live during the storm. Yeah, you're very, very welcome, Michael. We'd like to continue to do this more, especially for possible severe weather events. And really hoping to provide just as much information as possible to those who just simply want to know what's going on out there. Let's see here. It looks like Desiree joining us from Fairbury, 78 degrees in Fairbury. Yeah, it is. If you're on the south side of that boundary, it is a lot warmer. You see it in the bottom right of your screen, 47 degrees here in downtown Omaha. And according to Desiree in Fairbury, it is 78 degrees. So very very sharp contrast in those temperatures because of that boundary that somewhat technically is kind of a warm front now because it is kind of slowly moving to the north, but largely it's a stationary boundary that's just simply meandering. A lot of you asking about the severe weather where you live. I think the easiest way to answer all of you is that it can't be ruled out. If it's cold where you are right now, the greatest threat would be for some brief hail. Most likely it would remain somewhat small, but can't rule out a 1-inch diameter hailstone here or there. The greater risk lies south of this surface boundary. So if where you are right now is especially sunny, but most importantly warm, as in 60 plus degrees right now, that is the area now under a severe thunderstorm watch until 11 o'clock. So if you live in an area not under this watch right now, the risk for severe weather extremely low and likely contained to maybe some brief wind gusts and perhaps some 1-inch diameter hail. In this severe thunderstorm area, we do expect to see some large hailstones in excess of 1 inch in diameter, strong damaging winds as well, and the possibility, because the parameters and the wind profiles in the atmosphere are a little bit favorable for tornadoes, there's just a concern that there's just not enough fuel to sustain more isolated supercells. But there is a potential for an isolated tornado or two. Again, that is if you are in that severe thunderstorm watch where conditions are much, much warmer and have been much drier throughout the day today. So a lot of instability in that area of that severe thunderstorm watch, and we expect that to continue into the evening and possibly into the overnight hours. Over on Facebook, Alexandria, my 3-year-old's handling the thunderstorm well. Lots of woo. What's that? I tell him it's the Hulk thunderclap. Whatever works, Alexandria. When I do know when I was little, I was very scared of thunderstorms, and my parents would tell me it was angels bowling, and so whatever works is fantastic, and it's any way you can hopefully keep kids from being scared of thunderstorms. In my case, I got over it by learning about them as I got older, and that was a great help to me. So if the Hulk works, the Hulk works. I want to remind you, by the way, that coming up in about 15 minutes on First Alert 6 at 6, our new meteorologist, Matt Serwe, will be making his debut. You may remember him from him working at one of the other stations here in town previously, but he is joining us from the Twin Cities, where he's been working for the last several years, and is now back here in Omaha. So he will be taking over the TV side of things through these thunderstorms tonight, and we'll kind of be tag teaming between television and streaming here as long as this severe threat exists, especially as you see there in the areas where a severe thunderstorm watch is in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. Now I want to show you, this is one of our hail products, and we're going to have to zoom in quite a bit. As you can see, just a slight risk of some small hail in this just gray shaded area. Kind of hard to make out, to be honest. Right around here could be some pea-sized hail, but that is about it. But the main area that we're watching right now is well to our southwest, where a severe thunderstorm warning exists right now. That is where there is a very rapidly developing hail core just west of Big Bend, Kansas, southeast of Superior. And that is where we see a greater shot at some large hail falling. These storms will continue to move to the north and east and into our area, but right now this is really the only area of concern for large hail as it pushes across the Kansas-Nebraska border into the evening hours tonight. As you can see, it is moving a bit more to the east now, and so that's why you've seen this second warning be issued, staying below the Nebraska border. But again, that is the primary concern tonight as we continue to watch these thunderstorms develop. And there you see the latest radar scans, kind of a messy setup there as storms are now firing just south of that boundary here in southern Nebraska. There you see Fairbury. Showers and thunderstorms will be approaching, and I haven't checked yet. Let me see if we have information on the speed of these storms, since this is the primary potential for producing large hail. Moving to the east at just 20 miles per hour. That is important because that would certainly suggest that these storms are what we call surface-based and a little more rooted into the energy at the surface. And that would be an indicator that these storms are tapping into the energy in the atmosphere and will continue to do so as we move deeper into the evening hours. So something we're going to have to keep a very close watch on later tonight. Let's zoom back out here. As you can see, the thunderstorm's still in the greater Omaha metro area right now. We'll go ahead and zoom back in here and show you those. There you see the line of thunderstorms now exiting the metro area and into southwest Iowa. Another complex of thunderstorms north of Elkhorn about to push into the greater metro area. And then we have this other thunderstorm complex along I-29 north of Blair. All of this now moving relatively to the east and rather quickly without producing any large hail. So that's the good news. Just unfortunately, a lot of lightning out there. Just checking on our friends on Facebook. Heather asks, is the worst part over for the Omaha area? I have a kiddo going to volleyball from 7 to 9, so just trying to plan travel time and safely. We do still have some showers and thunderstorms in the area. As you can see there on the radar, we do have another thunderstorm north of Elkhorn. That is pushing off to the east, so most of the metro area will miss out on that. We can't rule out more thunderstorm development tonight. But we're hoping maybe we'll get a bit of a break here. Just can't guarantee it as things are really starting to ramp up. We do expect after 7 o'clock we will see more thunderstorms in the area. But again, the risk of it being severe is very, very low. So I don't think we're going to see anything immediately that is going to impact any of your plans tonight. Just be prepared. Take an umbrella. Park as close as you can because there's a good chance that you may still be running into some pretty heavy showers and possibly some thunderstorms as well. But if we see any severe weather in the Omaha metro area tonight, it will be very isolated and likely just confined to some large hail. But right now, that risk again for the metro area extremely low. So I don't think we're to a point where you need to cancel any plans, unless they're outdoor plans, of course, because it's very wet and we could continue to see some additional thunderstorms as we move through the evening hours. Again, the greatest risk right now lies to our south, where a severe thunderstorm watch has been issued, and we do now have just to our south and west a pair of thunderstorm warnings. Oh, that's the wrong scan. Let me switch that here. There we go. So we do have that, there's a severe thunderstorm watch in effect. I'm going to go ahead and put that up for you here. There you see it until 11 o'clock, and there you see those warnings right along the Kansas-Nebraska border. We do expect more thunderstorms to develop as we move through the evening hours. Right now, the best guess from the Storm Prediction Center is the county shaded in yellow is about as far north as the organized severe weather is going to get tonight. But there is a boundary that does have the potential of possibly sliding a little further to the north, and we're going to be keeping an eye out for that as we move through the remainder of the evening and overnight hours. So right now that boundary is largely right about here, and I did not draw that correctly. I apologize. My mouse kind of got a little janky on me, but there you see where that boundary is now. And to the south of this, if you're watching us to the south, you know that it's not 47 degrees. It's more closer into the 70s, mid 70s, and you've seen a lot of sunlight today. But up here in the Omaha area, no sun really, and we've been in the mid to upper 40s all day long. So again, no major concerns for severe weather for the metro area. Right now our focus is on the area to the south where that severe thunderstorm watch is in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. Again, I want to thank everyone for joining us. We are live on our streaming channel, which we will be switching that off here in just a couple of minutes for First Alert 6 at 6, but we will remain live on our 24/7 weather channel if you're watching us through Roku, as well as on our social media sites, Facebook, TikTok, even Twitch as well, so and YouTube, of course. So if you're joining us on those platforms, thanks again for joining us. And again, feel free to share your questions with us if you have any questions about what's going on tonight. We are also keeping tabs on any storm chasers that may be in our area tonight. I would be a little bit surprised if there were any tonight, as the bulk of this severe weather threat is going to be later in the week and into the weekend, and much of it won't be in our area, as the primary threats for major severe weather are going to stay to our south, at least until Monday, when we could see a more organized severe weather event that could impact the Omaha metro area. But again, that's on Monday. Right now, we do still expect a lot of showers and thunderstorms over the next several days across the viewing area. Most will stay below severe limits, but there will be sporadic chances for severe weather, especially the threat for strong damaging winds and some large hail as we move through the rest of the end of the week and into the weekend as well. That's what we're going to be tracking for the next several days. Austin asks on YouTube, could Monday be a tornado threat in the metro? I would say there's a slight chance of that. It's still a long ways out, so we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, because obviously things can change. Monday is a long way out, but right now there is a threat that we could see tornadic development anywhere in the slight risk area that we've been monitoring. Let me see if I don't think I have that, because that's a long ways out right now. But right now, what we're more focused on is just what we're watching for tonight. Again, there you see the severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect until 11 o'clock, and that pretty much matches up with the risk area that's been out all day long from the Storm Prediction Center. Then we move into tomorrow. We should be fine. If there's any showers, nothing should be severe tomorrow. And then Saturday, a very, very slight, or shouldn't even say slight risk, but a marginal risk for severe weather for much of the viewing area. But again, that would just be for some isolated severe thunderstorms. No major severe weather event expected on Saturday. Monday does appear to be the greatest threat day for our area. But again, it's just too far out to really nail down exactly how high the threats for any mode of severe weather, including tornadoes, might be. Back out now to live first alert radar as those storms are getting a little closer from our south and west. We do see that thunderstorm on the north side of the Omaha metro area now making its way in. Does appear a little bit stronger now north of Bennington, and is kind of a sharp line on the south side. Let's take a quick look at that. Not really getting any concerning wind reports from that. Let's go ahead and switch over to the hail detector, and just a very, very small potential for some small hail. That would not be any indication of any severe or large hail in the metro area, but this storm continues to push off just about due east, so it should largely avoid the core of the Omaha area. But again, Bennington right now getting hit. The 680 corridor will experience this thunderstorm over the next several minutes before it crosses the river into western Iowa and the Crescent area. Let's go ahead and zoom back out here now, and we're going to take a look at that severe thunderstorm that we've been monitoring. Whoops, just to our south and west. And we're going to zoom in on this here. And there you see what looks to be a pretty good hail core just about to come into the Nebraska area, as we're getting some very strong returns on the reflectivity. And if we switch over to the hail scanner, there you see a pretty significant hail core now shaping up just south of the Nebraska border, capable of producing certainly the possibility of 1.5-inch diameter hail. That appears to be the primary threat with these severe thunderstorms right along the Nebraska-Kansas border. Will be large hail, but a isolated tornado cannot be ruled out as the storm system continues to develop tonight. A lot of energy to play with, and a lot of potential for circulation just based on the wind profiles aloft. Looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning just south of the border. There you see as another thunderstorm has begun to develop in Kansas, and this one is moving off to the northeast. This, if it holds together, would begin to enter our area near Beatrice in the next 1 to 2 hours. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that. So far, these severe thunderstorms have been moving very slow. Certainly would be playing a role in the amount of hail development, since it's not moving very fast. That really allows that hail to bounce around in the cloud. There is still the potential of some strong gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour, but it's really that hail threat. This storm is moving to the northeast now at 35 miles per hour, so within the next hour or so it should be entering our viewing area, far southern portion of our viewing area in southern Nebraska. Martin on Facebook asking us, what about Sunday? I believe Sunday is looking relatively okay. I think there is in fact, I think I had it up here just a minute ago. I'll try and get it back up. Oh, that's Saturday. Saturday, we do have a very, very limited potential for an isolated severe thunderstorm or two in the area. Sunday, however, looks relatively calm. Can't rule out showers and thunderstorms, but right now the severe threat looks relatively low. But again, we're going to have that concern with Monday. Appears to be the day of greatest potential across the area, as we expect to see organized severe weather develop, possibly in our area, especially in the Omaha metro area and points to the east. This will be likely a relatively short window for severe weather in eastern Nebraska before it pushes off into western Iowa, and then much of Iowa facing a significant threat for severe weather. Jennifer over on Facebook asks, will flight from Chicago be affected today? To be perfectly honest, Jennifer, I don't know what the weather in Chicago looks like. If it's a flight that is taking off or landing in Omaha, I don't think we're seeing any kind of weather today that is going to cancel flights, at least in our area. It could delay flights. It could cause a little bit of a redirect around a thunderstorm, but right now, No major organized severe weather expected in our area. And I don't believe there's any significant threat for Chicago. But of course, thunderstorms, even general thunderstorms, can sort of put things in a bit of a hold from time to time. But no major issues to be concerned about that I'm aware of. But if you're worried about the weather in Chicago, it's always best to check resources in that area, because that's just an area that we can't keep an eye on very effectively when we have weather in our area. Officer Tim over on YouTube is asking about La Vista. Showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible all night long, but again, the severe threat for the Omaha metro area, the surrounding area, is extremely, extremely low. And as we've been talking about, if you want to know what your, at least for today, what your threat for severe weather is, the easiest answer is it cold outside? And if it's cold outside, that threat is going to be very low. It is 46 degrees right now, as you see in the bottom right of your screen in downtown Omaha. Very cold today, has not really warmed up at all, and just not very conducive for severe weather. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to zoom out here, and I'm going to show you the current temperatures across the area. And there you see, and you know, feast or famine, as we've been talking about, and I will put it back up here for you. It sometimes is a cold front, sometimes it's a warm front, sometimes it's a stationary front. We're going to go ahead and call it a stationary front right now, because if it's moving, it's not moving very much. But south of that boundary, whether it's moving or not, it is very warm, very unstable, a lot of moisture to work with, a lot of energy to work with, and that is where we're seeing those showers and thunderstorms fire off along and south of that frontal boundary. 63 in Beatrice, 77 in Falls City, 63 in Maryville. And then you see to the north of it, 40s, even low 50s at best across much of Nebraska right now. And so really the primary threat is going to be for some isolated large hail north of that boundary. If some of these storms actually push off of that boundary, it's certainly possible, but very, very isolated chance tonight. The main threat is right along that frontal boundary, and if this is any indication, I can't think of a better indicator than this, is that is exactly where we have a severe thunderstorm watch right now until 11 o'clock. And so right now, the Storm Prediction Center is not confident that that front is going to move much further to the north. And if that's the case, that's going to keep the threat for severe weather well south of the metro area tonight. But that doesn't mean that we can rule out showers and thunderstorms. So if you're not a fan of the noise, you could still hear some bumps and rumbles in the night tonight, as showers and thunderstorms will remain possible, much like they've been for all the entire day here across the metro area. But that will continue to develop throughout the evening and overnight hours. But the severe threat should remain well south of the metro area. In that area, you see a severe thunderstorm watch, which is now in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. Here's another look at live first alert radar. As you see that one cell just north of downtown, making its way through the area. No reports of any hail with this. Also not getting any reports of any major flooding problems in the metro area. So that is the good news there. I want to zoom out now and see, are we getting anything from our storms to the south? And yes, we are getting some confirmed reports of severe weather down there. We're going to take a quick look at that here. I'm going to zoom in on that area so we get a better radar image with this. And there you see that the cell that's just beginning to cross into Nebraska now has a history of producing severe weather. The report here was from Weber, the city of Weber, local media outlet reporting 1-inch diameter hail there just about 15 minutes ago. So that is our first confirmed report of severe hail. And we will continue to monitor these storms as they are growing in intensity and also growing in coverage area. As you can see, just a whole complex, a messy complex of showers and thunderstorms. That is certainly going to, if that continues, hopefully keep the tornado risk low for the rest of the evening, but certainly an isolated tornado in the severe thunderstorm watch area, not in the Omaha metro, is certainly possible. But it looks like the primary threat, if these storms don't accelerate much, will be large hail and a slight potential for some strong gusty winds as well. But it has not been raining in this area all day like it has been here in the metro area. It is much warmer. They are south of a frontal boundary. It is in the 70s, high 70s in some areas compared to our mid to upper 40s here in the metro. And so there is plenty of fuel for these storms to work with even after sunset. In fact, we are continuing to see the area of severe weather expand as we just had a new severe thunderstorm warning issued deeper into Kansas as a line of thunderstorms is beginning to develop, and there is confirmed damage from those as well from strong gusty winds. But for our area, strong winds and large hail will be the threat as we move through the evening and overnight hours, but that threat, for the most part, should stay well south of the metro area. But even so, we do like to bring you this coverage on our social media platforms as well as on our 24/7 weather channel as well. And when we're not in a newscast, we'll also provide it on our main streaming channel on our website and again on our social media channels. Again, if you're just joining us, a severe thunderstorm watch has been issued for areas of southern Nebraska until 11 o'clock. There you see that with the collection of severe thunderstorm warnings just to the southwest of our viewing area that are beginning to make their way closer to the Beatrice area. And so we continue to see more development further to the north. We'll have to see if it remains confined in that watch area. So far it has, and that is a good sign that the storms are not really reaching beyond that frontal boundary that is parked right on the northern edge of that watch, and really the dividing line between some very warm and unstable air and some cool and much more stable air here in the Omaha metro area and other areas where there is no watch in effect. Again, if you have any questions about what's happening tonight, feel free to share them in our chat on YouTube, or if you're watching us on Facebook, in the comments section there, we'll see it. We'll try and get to it as best we can. But right now, we are going to focus on the thunderstorms that are happening now in our area, as we do see a pretty strong potential for the Beatrice area and points south and east, possibly seeing some severe weather here within the next hour or two. And so we're going to have to keep a very close watch on that tonight, as that threat will continue after sunset tonight, and just going to be an ongoing problem for us as we move into your late Thursday and into Friday morning. So as you can see, we are seeing the coverage area of actual severe activity beginning to grow, now entering southern Nebraska, stretching all the way back through Kansas. That's where that severe thunderstorm watch is in effect. Also some warnings now in the Texas Panhandle, so this is a very large system. But for most of western Iowa, eastern Nebraska, we are in the cold sector of this air mass, and so we're certainly going to see some showers and thunderstorms, but the chances of any of those becoming severe remains exceedingly low. Where the air mass is much warmer south of that boundary, that is where we're seeing the greatest risk tonight for severe weather, and that is what we're seeing play out pretty much right in the area we expected to see it. So I'm going to chalk that up as another win for the forecast models. They've really been able to pinpoint the primary risk area that we're dealing with. So as we've said, despite the stronger thunderstorms that we've seen in our area here in the Omaha metro area, we really don't expect any severe weather in the areas not under severe thunderstorm watch. We could see some stronger storms get a little bit north of this watch, where it is right now. If that warm front begins to meander a little bit to the north, or some storms get a little bit out in front of the frontal boundary, but right now that is not happening. I know Martin on Facebook asking about Norfolk. No, very, very limited, if any, chance for severe weather. Really, the only threat, if you're not under a severe thunderstorm watch right now, the only major threat is for some very isolated hail in any additional thunderstorms that develop tonight. But again, we really do not expect much in the way of severe threat, simply because the air mass is too cold and too stable right now after a day of showers and thunderstorms throughout our area. So as we've got the loop on here, I've done this several times, but I want to do it again if anybody is just joining us, because I think it's really important to keep this in mind as to why we're seeing a lot of thunderstorms here in the metro area, but what we're not seeing is not seeing any severe weather. So I want to kind of remind you of the reason why, and that is a frontal boundary. It's sometimes a cold front, it's sometimes a warm front, it's sometimes what I'm drawing here, a stationary front, and it's just simply not moving. If it moves a little bit. And technically, if it starts to slide a little bit to the north, it's a warm front. If it starts to slide a little bit to the south, it's a cold front. But it is not really moving much at all. And so that is the boundary between the warm and cold air. So if you're north of that boundary, chances are you're in the mid to upper 40s, maybe some low 50s. But south of that boundary, Falls City, for example, in southeast Nebraska, last report was 77 and 70 degrees in much of the area that is under a severe thunderstorm watch. That is where it hasn't been raining. They've gotten some sunshine, they've gotten a lot of warm air, and there is a lot of instability in the atmosphere right now. And now the triggers have gone off, developing these severe thunderstorms in that watch area, and that is why we're seeing several warnings now stretching from southern Nebraska to the Texas Panhandle. But again, they do still remain somewhat disorganized. So right now, the main threat appears to be large hail. An isolated, strong, damaging wind gust, possibly an isolated tornado within the watch area, but it looks like right now the main threat for now is that large hail developing in the most powerful storms. Let's go ahead. I'm going to back out of this, and we're going to switch over to live first alert radar, where we're keeping an eye out for any additional severe weather reports. We did get that report right along the Kansas-Nebraska border of 1-inch diameter hail. No other reports so far, but we're still seeing some very intense cells. You can kind of make out a little bit of white, which is really high end on the reflectivity scan. And I bet if we zoom in here, I'm going to put a hail detector on this, and we're likely going to see some pretty strong hail cores. Yeah, there you see a real strong hail core between Hotham and Elk Creek. And that is detecting aloft, I should point out, 1.4-inch diameter hail aloft. That doesn't mean that's the size of the hail falling on the ground, but certainly the potential exists in that area of hail greater than 1 inch in diameter, and that, of course, is capable of producing significant damage to cars and property wherever it may fall. Now let's take a look at this, and we're seeing a very potent hail core over here, right just south of the Nebraska border over by Big Bend. And I don't think we're going to like this report. 1.9-inch diameter hail, nearly 2-inch diameter hail being reported in the storm. To me, especially with melting and all of that and how long these hailstones are staying aloft in the thunderstorm, I would say that area has a very strong potential for 1.5-inch diameter hail hitting the ground. So hail appears to be the main threat at this time in the severe thunderstorm warnings, but obviously we are going to be keeping an eye out for any additional development that could suggest rotation. Right now, we're kind of caught between radar beams, and we're not seeing a whole lot of indication that there's any risk right now for tornadic development in the very near future. But I want to go ahead and put that warning up again, because I want you to see that. That is very telling that the National Weather Service This is actually an upgraded severe thunderstorm warning. This is what we call a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. And what that means is that either winds much greater than the severe threshold are expected, or hail much greater than the severe threshold is expected. And so in this case, instead of 1 inch diameter hail, they're advising the risk of 1 3/4 inch diameter hail, which I believe is around ping pong ball sized. And that is very large, can do a lot of damage to windows, to siding, as well as to cars and any other property left outside. And of course, very dangerous for anybody caught outside in a storm producing hailstones that big. So a very significant severe weather threat there right along the Kansas-Nebraska border that we continue to keep an eye on tonight as these storms continue to push off to the east-northeast and begin entering our area, especially in the Beatrice area in far southern Nebraska. Let's go ahead and zoom out here again so you can see the area under the greatest threat right now for this severe weather. Well to our south and west, we do still have more showers and thunderstorms continuing to develop in eastern Nebraska, but these should stay below severe limits. There you see some new development between Wahoo and Lincoln, but again, this is in the cold sector. We also can't rule out what may happen if these storms are going to stay north of that frontal boundary, or if they, as they get closer to that frontal boundary, if they're going to begin to interact with it a little bit. That obviously is going to be a concern as well for areas especially south of Nebraska City, closer towards Beatrice. But again, right now, all of the severe weather well to our south, but it is moving into our viewing area, as you can see here. And a storm already with a history of producing large hail now has the potential of producing some very large hail. And that's why we're not just seeing severe thunderstorm warnings along the Kansas-Nebraska border. We're seeing considerable severe thunderstorm warnings now being issued because of the threat of that large hail. Kayla asking on Facebook about Omaha and Elkhorn for severe weather. Again, Kayla, if you're just joining us, we've been talking about that. The threat is extremely low. If anything, we could see a very isolated hail threat in our area. However, we will still be experiencing showers and thunderstorms. As you can see, more developing to the southwest of the metro area right now. We could continue to see that for some time. But again, the threat does appear to be largely contained to our south, and that is why there is a severe thunderstorm watch for the far southern counties here in Nebraska and northwest Missouri until 11 o'clock tonight. As thunderstorms continue throughout the evening and overnight hours, we do expect the potential of seeing more thunderstorms in the metro area. But again, the risk right now of seeing severe weather north of this watch, especially far north of Lincoln and Plattsmouth and Shenandoah and York, extremely low tonight. This is just the first day of what we expect to be a very active weather pattern setting up. Right now, it appears we're going to get a break from the showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. Saturday, we could see some strong to isolated severe thunderstorms in parts of Nebraska and western Iowa. Sunday, hopefully, although there is still a chance of showers and thunderstorms, hopefully we're going to get a break on Sunday, and it won't be a total washout for the weekend. But then Monday, we are facing a much more significant threat of severe weather, especially along and south of a line. If you draw a line from Fremont down to Wahoo and Lincoln and Beatrice and points to the east, it looks like our greatest risk for organized severe weather in the greater viewing area and the Omaha metro area is going to be on Monday. And then hopefully we're going to get another break. But talking large scale here, this is a active severe weather period that is just beginning, the likes of which the U.S. hasn't seen in years. We are looking at round after round after round of potential severe weather for the next several weeks. That doesn't mean it's always going to be in our area, but somewhere in the United States, we do expect almost every day for the next 2 to 3 weeks there to be a threat for severe weather. And so for some of those days, we do expect to see threats over the next couple of weeks here in eastern Nebraska and western Iowa. And so that is what we're going to be keeping an eye out for, and that is why we are on tonight to just give you an idea of what's happening and Just to remind you, this isn't a major severe weather event. If you see thunderstorms, that doesn't mean you're under the gun for severe weather, as we've seen here in the metro area all day long. And it's just simply a situation where we have the parameters in place for a lot of showers and thunderstorms despite how cold it is. And that's some pretty good news, because we've gotten a lot of good rain on this side of the state, unfortunately not on the other, but it is helping to ease the drought conditions in many areas, which is what is sorely needed, especially to our west. And hopefully they will get in on some of this precipitation later into the month of April. But right now, our focus is on southern Nebraska, where severe hail-producing thunderstorms are now moving into the area, bearing down on the Beatrice area in the next hour or two. And these storms are interacting with a lot of boundaries out there, a lot of outflow from thunderstorms earlier today. And that interaction's happening to the north in the cold area. That's why we keep seeing these showers and thunderstorms regenerating. And we are fortunate enough that we are not in the unstable air mass, and so hopefully that will protect us a little bit from severe weather. And then we just simply have to worry about southern Nebraska. All modes of severe weather possible in southern Nebraska tonight. The primary threat so far has been almost exclusively large hail. As these storms continue to develop, we could see some strong damaging winds, and there is still the potential for an isolated tornado in the watch area. There are some conditions with the winds aloft that are conducive to tornadic development, but right now things are kind of developing in these globs and complexes of thunderstorms, and that kind of setup just really doesn't lend itself to tornadic development. So that tornado threat is there tonight in the severe thunderstorm watch area, but it does remain relatively low. And I think that we are going to be focusing more on a threat for tornadoes on Monday. Austin over on YouTube asks, will you be live Saturday? The only answer I can tell you is I don't know. Right now, the threat for Saturday is extremely low. It may, if there's any severe weather, it will be very isolated and likely closer to sunset on Saturday. So if we're not on the air, we will certainly try and bring you coverage on our 24/7 channel. And of course, we will always have the latest information on the bottom of your screen on First Alert 6, as well as on our website, firstalert6.com. But if need be, we will try and go live on Saturday if needed. But the threat compared to today, right now, the threat in our viewing area on Saturday is pretty low, but that doesn't mean we're not going to have showers and thunderstorms. So it could still be a noisy night on Saturday, but the threat much lower than what we're experiencing right now in southern Nebraska, at least. So we are gonna leave that as maybe a soft maybe, but then our focus is really going to turn on Monday, where I think we'll see our greatest risk in the near future for severe thunderstorms in our area. Again, Monday afternoon, and hopefully not too late into Monday, as things will be developing in our area and then pushing off to the east. And so a much longer duration event for people in Iowa, both in western Iowa and beyond, as those storms will push off to the east Monday evening. Desiree, starting to rain in Fairbury, hearing thunder and seeing lightning. Yeah, this is getting awfully close to your area, Desiree, and we'll do some zooming in here to give you a better idea of what we're talking about. This is in northern Kansas, where we do have some more powerful cells developing. But if we come up here into southern Nebraska, there's where you are, Desiree, and Fairbury, and yeah, you are experiencing what I would say is a strong thunderstorm, but no indication of it being a severe thunderstorm. And if there's any hope of really limiting the threat of severe weather tonight, it's what we're seeing right now, where we're seeing just kind of a messy area of development. And when we see that, that can take the energy away from those strong storms. So that we did have that very potent hail core that did drop some large hail just south of the Nebraska border. That cell has certainly weakened quite a bit. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I'm looking at the wrong radar right now. Let's switch over to the correct radar here. And yeah, it has weakened quite a bit, still capable of producing marginally severe hail of around 1 inch in diameter, but nowhere near as organized as what we saw earlier. And so we're kind of seeing a bit of a messy development here as the atmosphere in that air in that part of Nebraska and Kansas is largely uncapped right now. And so what that means is it's tapping into all of the energy in the atmosphere. And so we're seeing development kind of all over the place as you see, kind of discombobulated cells that are developing. And that's kind of limiting their ability to produce severe weather, which is good news. Now, whether that continues through the rest of the evening as these storms continue to push off a little bit to the north and well to the east remains to be seen. Generally, storms do become a little bit more organized the longer they're out there. Um, but again, that is going to be the question as we move through the next, say, 4 to 6 hours for southern Nebraska. I do want to, let's go back out full here to live first alert radar, and I'll get the graphic off of there. I do want to bring your attention over here to the radar site. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this. Let me see if I can get this into motion over the last hour. And do you see those two lines? You see those two lines moving from north to south. I'm going to go ahead and freeze this here so I can give you a better idea of what I'm talking about. So we have these two lines right here near the radar site, and then this other kind of arcing line right here. These are outflow boundaries. Basically a much weaker, much smaller version of a frontal boundary, and these outflow boundaries are produced when they are ejected from thunderstorms earlier today. I mean, we had thunderstorms all over eastern Nebraska, and they have put out these outflow boundaries in just about every direction you can think of. And as they're interacting with the frontal boundary and interacting with the different air mass, these are kind of often trigger points for thunderstorm development. And so I'm going to take my little doodles off of here, and we're going to put this back into motion. You can see what I'm talking about. If you look at the southern line, this is where new thunderstorms are kind of popping off here. So look here right by Superior and Red Cloud, where you see that line interacting with something in the atmosphere, likely the frontal boundary or just simply the warm air mass. That is where you're seeing just thunderstorm after thunderstorm after thunderstorm kind of popping off that line and then going off on its own. And so that is a real trigger point. And with so many boundaries out there from earlier today, that is why we're just seeing a really messy situation. And the good news is that prevents some of the more organized setup for severe weather, which is good because we want to keep the severe threat as low as possible, even though we know it can't be zero in this environment in southern Nebraska. So as those boundaries continue to interact, they are going to set off more showers and thunderstorms. That's what's been happening here in eastern Nebraska, even in the cold sector. And that is going to continue to be a problem as we move through the next several hours in the area where that severe thunderstorm warning remains, or severe thunderstorm watch rather, remains in effect. And now look at this, we're just getting a whole treasure trove of new hail reports in Nebraska and Kansas. We're going to go through these one by one. You can see the ones in southern Nebraska, southwest of Hebron. That was with the cell that was producing the strongest indication of very large hail. And yes, Byron, the city of Byron, reports 1.5 inch diameter hail from a storm that passed through there about 20 minutes ago. And then also small hail were reported around the same time further to the north and east as that cell was clearly beginning to weaken. Some other reports just south of Nebraska that we did receive in the Belleville area, not Bellevue, Belleville area, 1 inch diameter hail reported just south of Nebraska. And then the most recent report over by Haddam, 1 3/4 inch diameter hail. That's golf ball sized hail that fell just about 7 minutes ago. And that's kind of a good indication of what's going on, as some of these cells look like that they've weakened. And often in the case where they look like they've weakened a bit, that is kind of that hail core collapsing and then that big hail coming down to the ground. And obviously that's what happened here, is that golf ball sized hail just fell about 6 or 7 minutes ago. Again, I want to thank everyone for joining us on Facebook, on TikTok, on Twitch, on YouTube as well. We're bringing you this coverage because this is a situation that is not significant enough to be covering up programming right now, but at least for those of you who are impacted or those of you that are just curious, no matter where you are, we wanted to bring you this coverage across our area. We're also streaming. If you have your Roku device, we're streaming on our 24/7 weather channel. You can access that from anywhere. If you have a Roku device, you don't have to be in our viewing area, and so that's another way to get our live streams when we are on the air. So if you don't live in Nebraska or Iowa, but you got friends in the area and you want to know what's going on, then this is for you as well. If you're concerned about what's going on back here at home. We do still have additional severe thunderstorm warnings developing further to the south and west into Kansas as this line continues to fire up. Meanwhile, back here in the metro area, more showers and thunderstorms coming through the area. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here a little bit. There we go. And again, none of these are severe in the metro area. None of these producing severe weather outside of a very, very slim chance of some pea-sized hail. We did get a couple of reports of that earlier today. But again, no severe weather, major severe weather expected in the metro area tonight. Just a lot of showers and thunderstorms like we've seen all day long. In fact, I want to switch over to the rain detector here and see. Now, these are radar detected rainfall totals, and you know what, let's zoom in a little bit more here into the metro. And you see some of these pockets of heavy rainfall. This is over the last 24 hours, and getting indications of the possibility that more than 3 inches of rain fell right along the Missouri River north of the downtown area over by Crescent. These yellow areas you see here, that is more than 2.5 inches being detected by radar. And then up here, northeast of Bennington, more than 3 inches of rain detected, as well as just north of the Boys Town area in Omaha, east of Elkhorn. So some very solid rain returns. These dark greens, 1 inch rainfall over the last 24 hours. So a really, really soaking day across the metro area. And I don't think many people are going to complain about that, especially if you've been staring at a brown patch of yard for quite a while, as it has been dry the past several months across the metro area. Unfortunately, not everybody is getting in on this rainfall, but sorely, sorely needed in the area. And as we zoom out here, you can see where that line from west to east, from Wahoo to Atlantic, a large area getting over 1 inch of rain, according to radar estimates over the last 24 hours. So very, very good news for some areas that have been very, very dry for a long time. All right, back out now to live first alert radar. Let's go ahead and throw the lightning detector on this. Obviously, a lot of lightning in our severe thunderstorms to the south and west. But if we come back in here on the metro area, still getting some pockets of lightning over along the I-80 corridor up to Minden on that stronger cell, and then more lightning now on these weaker cells just about to the I-80 corridor between Omaha and Lincoln. So anybody driving from Omaha to Lincoln over the next 30 to 45 minutes certainly going to run into a lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rain, but again, no real threat for severe weather at this time. As we go back out, we're going to zoom in on our complex of severe thunderstorms as they continue to make their way across the border into southern Nebraska. The good news is many of them, because there's so many thunderstorms developing, are not maintaining their intensity. Let's go ahead and I'm going to take the lightning off of here so we can get a better view of this. But we are seeing, again, another strengthening hail core just south of the Nebraska border. Not good, certainly. As certainly the potential of greater than 1 inch diameter hail, again, just near the Belleville area, which already reported greater than 1 inch diameter hail. Over here in the Superior area, could be some 1 inch diameter hail falling as well, just north of the Kansas-Nebraska border. Otherwise, some very small pockets of potentially small hail Another severe hail core being detected over here in northeastern Kansas. But right now, the main concern is right here north of Belleville, south of the Nebraska border. But again, as we showed you when we put this into motion, we'll go ahead and do it again here. These storms just continually develop, and that kind of saps off the energy from what look like very powerful cells. With the exception of that cell you see that moves from south of Byron over towards Bellevue, where they already got some large hail from a separate storm. That storm is moving to the southeast, which is kind of opposite of what we're seeing in these other storms. And that raises a couple of questions if it could be potentially producing some stronger wind gusts as well. I'm going to take a look at this real quick. And there you see that large hail core that we detected earlier. Unfortunately, we're still quite a ways away from the radar site right now, and so it's hard to make out if there's any strong wind gusts in there. It's also hard to make out if there's any real rotation going on. That is going to be up to storm spotters to really detect. But certainly seeing a lot of mixing wind directions in there, but nothing that looks like any organized rotation right now. If we look at just simply the radar image, it does try and show a little bit of a hook effect, which would make sense because of the different direction that it's moving. But again, really hard to make out if there's any genuine rotation capable of producing a tornado in that storm right now. And with all of the various cells in that area just kind of making a traffic jam of severe weather right now, no cell is really able to kind of become, for lack of a better term, king of the hill and become a more dominant supercell right now. Instead, they're all capable of producing large hail, and that is what most of them are doing right now. But still something to keep an eye out for over the next several hours, as there in this area of the severe thunderstorm watch, there does remain a risk of possible isolated tornadoes tonight. Haley over on YouTube asking about Council Bluffs. Haley, if you're just joining us, I've been saying this about every 10 or 15 minutes, but I know people are coming in and out, so I'm happy to say it again. It is just too cold for any organized severe weather in our area. There is the potential for maybe a very isolated large hail report in our area, but that threat is extremely low. But we will still see showers and thunderstorms in the greater Omaha metro area for much of the evening, possibly. But the severe threat remains well to our south. We're going to go ahead and throw the radar into motion here, and you can see what we're talking about. There you see the severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect until 11 o'clock this evening for portions of southern Nebraska and northwest Missouri. That watch remains in effect until 11 o'clock. And then we have this complex of thunderstorms moving through the watch area. These will not be getting anywhere near Omaha as a frontal boundary continues to be draped across the area, and mostly a stationary frontal boundary here. And so above this, as you probably noticed, Haley, most of the day has been very cold here in Omaha and Council Bluffs, and it's going to stay that way. We're not going to really get any warmer because the warmer air mass is on the south side of this boundary, and it's going to stay there. We don't expect this boundary to really move much at all through the evening hours. We could see some isolated severe weather along and north of that boundary, but very, very unlikely it's going to get anywhere near the Omaha metro area. The main threat is south of that boundary, where the air mass is much warmer, much more destabilizing, and that is where we're seeing several severe thunderstorms producing some pretty large hail popping off. But again, virtually no risk that that is going to happen in the Omaha metro area tonight. Could still continue to see showers and thunderstorms here in the greater Omaha area for the next several hours as they just keep developing off and on. But again, the severe threat here is extremely low, and I would say it's pretty much isolated to just a very low threat of large hail. Let's go back out live now to First Alert Radar. There you see, can't make out honestly if those are new hail reports, but not getting any additional hail reports in our neck of the woods, as we do have some showers and thunderstorms making their way into the Odell and Beatrice area. Right now, those are not severe. Time will tell if it stays that way, as these storms have kind of been pulsing in and out, with the exception of this one cell in Kansas now moving southeast that has maintained its intensity and is likely the only cell so far that carries a potential risk of some strong wind gusts as well. We're going to take a look at that again here. And not really seeing anything in the way of organized rotation at all, but getting some indications on the south side of this cell near the Belleville area that there could be some pretty gusty winds. Not sure if they're reaching severe limits right now, but could be an isolated wind gust approaching 60 miles per hour. But again, right now, no real indications that this is anywhere near producing a tornado. So the main threat still appears to be large hail and maybe some very isolated gusty winds with this cell between Belleville and Rose Creek. Let's go back here to the metro area where we do have those showers and thunderstorms making their way down, up and down the I-80 corridor right now, Gretna in the thick of it, as well as further to the south and west here approaching Ashland, Waverly. These storms will be impacting the I-80 corridor for the next 30 to 60 minutes. No severe weather, but obviously some pretty intense downpours and a lot of lightning with these, like we've seen all day long, so that will likely slow down travel along I-80 over the next hour or so. Again, if you're just joining us, Severe Thunderstorm Watch remains in effect for the southern portion of our viewing area until 11 o'clock this evening. We are running those counties on the bottom of your screen you see there. Just general showers and thunderstorms, producing some pretty heavy rainfall rates in the Omaha metro area right now, like they have all day. But as you see there in the bottom right of your screen, 46 degrees, and that is kind of the area we've been hovering around all day long. Just a much more rained out and stable air mass over the metro area, and so there's very little risk of severe weather as we move through the next several hours. The severe risk remains to our south where that watch is in effect, and that is where we're seeing several reports of large hail in that area. As we're seeing several hail-producing storms, we've seen hail reports ranging from 1 inch in diameter along the Kansas-Nebraska border, all the way up to 1 3/4 inch diameter in the Hotham area, which that's golf ball size. That will do some serious damage, and so if that was some widespread hail in the community, unfortunately, there are going to be some body shops hammering out dents and replacing windshields likely for any vehicles that were caught out in that hailstorm. So just a laundry list of warnings right now, right along the Nebraska-Kansas border, and then stretching further to the south into Kansas as more hail-producing storms have popped up well to our south, causing problems throughout Kansas. But right now, for our area, the main threat is for areas south of Interstate 80, especially Beatrice and points east and south. So the two tiers of counties there you see east of Beatrice, stretching over to Rockport, Maryville, and Falls City. That is where the greatest risk for severe weather will exist over the next 4 to 6 hours. And again, the severe thunderstorm watch remains in effect for that area until 11 o'clock this evening. Now you can see here as we put the radar into motion that even though we're talking about two very different air masses, north of that watch and south of that watch, it's still one storm system, and you can see that the storms, regardless of what side of that frontal boundary they're on, are moving at the same general speed, same general direction, and that is likely to continue this evening. So we could still see additional development north of the boundary. We just don't expect it to reach severe limits, and so our focus remains on those counties that are shaded in yellow, where a severe thunderstorm watch is in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. Again, if you're just joining us, if you have any questions, you're welcome to share them in our YouTube chat or on the comments section of this live video on our Facebook page. We're also streaming, if you have a Roku device, on our 24/7 weather channel. And coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll also be on our main website streaming channel as well, where they are streaming the newscast right now. Our new meteorologist, Matt Serwi, is on the air right now as he's returned to the Omaha area, and what a welcome he's gotten today with thunderstorms just all over the place, and he is tracking the storms from the weather lab in there as we monitor this ongoing threat for severe weather for the southern portion of our viewing area and the ongoing risk of just a stormy night across the Omaha area for the next several hours. We are running the latest watches at the bottom of your screen, as you see there. We'll have the warnings scrolling there as well once they reach our viewing area, if they reach our viewing area. And again, the fortunate thing for Omaha is it is cool, and although stormy, it is relatively stable at 46 degrees. So the threat for severe weather here likely limited to some marginally large hail, but right now that risk remains very low. All right, I think we've been going quite a bit here for the last hour and 15 minutes or so, so we're going to take a break. I did just see Tiffany on Facebook asking how north does this storm reach. Tiffany, if you're talking about the storms in along the Kansas-Nebraska border that are already under a severe thunderstorm warning, they may not get that much further north than that tonight, as that frontal boundary has not moved really at all to the north from where it's draped right now. And so right now the severe threat for the Omaha metro area almost non-existent, and if not, very, very low as we move through the evening hours. If you're talking about north of Omaha, we do still have showers and thunderstorms stretching all the way into the northeast portion of our viewing area: Denison, Carroll, Harlan, Atlantic, Oakland, and to the east all the way over to Creston. You see there just a massive complex of showers and thunderstorms throughout the western, central, and eastern portions of Iowa right now. Just making for a rainy night, but no severe weather expected in those areas either. Right now, the severe risk remains well confined to the southern part of our viewing area, as these hail-producing severe thunderstorms are beginning to push into our area of southeastern Nebraska, and that is what we're going to be monitoring throughout the evening. So again, we're going to go ahead and take a little break here, and we will leave the live radar up for you, and so you can keep an eye on those thunderstorms to our south, as well as we'll try and fit everything on the screen here for you, and from Omaha down to the severe thunderstorm warnings, so that you can keep an eye on what's going on, and we will be back with you sometime close to the top of the hour.
Live from WOWT, this is a First Alert 6 weather day.
And good evening, everyone. Nick Weig here with you at the Alert Center as we are monitoring the threat for severe weather for especially the southern portion of our viewing area. The Omaha metro area should remain out of this for the evening and overnight hours, but we could still see some showers and thunderstorms here like we have all day long. Let's go ahead and take you now live to First Alert radar, and you can see where the storms are right now. We are monitoring these storms just south of the Nebraska border that continually redevelop, but so far the strongest storms are staying south of the Kansas-Nebraska border, but we continue to see redevelopment to the west, and so we'll be monitoring that. But these storms, at least in Kansas, have begun to take a more east-southeasterly direction instead of the northeast track they were taking earlier this evening, but we do still expect more development as we move through the evening hours, even after sunset. And so as a result, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch that remains in effect for the southern portion of our viewing area. This does include Beatrice, Rockport, Falls City, and Maryville. It does not include the Omaha metro area, and it does not include Lincoln or Nebraska City or Shenandoah as well. There is still a very, very low chance that we could see an isolated severe thunderstorm north of the watch, but so far we're not seeing much indication that that could happen because the frontal boundary that's draped right on the northern edge of that watch is really not moving much at all tonight. Let's go ahead and zoom in. You see the warnings to the south and west of our viewing area. Let's go ahead and take you in closer to our area. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the greater metro area here, as we do still have round after round of showers and thunderstorms that are developing and moving through the metro area. Just another round that moved through the downtown area here shortly. And we've been watching a line of showers and thunderstorms that's begun to weaken quite a bit, but just passed over the I-80 corridor between Omaha and Lincoln. And we continue to monitor the potential for any hail in these storms. But again, outside of maybe an isolated spot of pea-sized hail, very small, not going to do any damage, we're just not really seeing any strong or severe indication from these storms. Just a lot of rain, which we do sorely need, and a lot of lightning, making for quite a bit of noise in the area like it has all day long. We are coming to you live on our 24/7 weather channel, as well as on our website streaming channel. We're available on your Roku device if you want to watch us there, and we are live on our Facebook, YouTube, Twitch pages as well. And if you have any questions, feel free to chime in on the chat on our YouTube channel or in the comments section of this stream on our Facebook page. We're happy to try and answer any questions you have tonight, as we've been doing for the last couple of hours already since these severe thunderstorms began to develop just to the southwest of our viewing area, and we are going to continue to keep an eye on those. But again, showers and thunderstorms continue for the greater Omaha metro area like they have all day. We could see additional thunderstorms tonight and into the early morning hours in the metro area, but right now a very, very low risk that any will become severe. The greater risk for that lies in the southern counties of our viewing area, where a severe thunderstorm watch remains in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. The greatest threat so far, really the only severe weather we've seen so far along the Kansas-Nebraska border, has been some pretty large hail. In fact, one report just south of the border came in at golf ball sized, or 1 3/4 inch diameter hail. That certainly, if it fell in a community, which the report said it did, that would have certainly caused some damage to cars, property, and possibly even windows and siding as well, depending on how much fell. So ongoing severe weather risk for areas south and east of Beatrice over the next at least 4 hours, if not longer. And we're going to continue to monitor to see how this storm system kind of matures over the next several hours, as we do expect additional development for several hours, both inside and outside of the watch. But again, the severe threat for now, and we hope, should stay largely contained in that area currently under a severe thunderstorm watch. If you're joining us in the Omaha metro area, you know it has been storming all day long, but without any organized severe weather that we're aware of. But again, that does remain a potential that we are certainly keeping an eye out for. We are running the counties under that severe thunderstorm watch at the bottom of your screen. Not the warnings yet. We don't have any warnings in our viewing area. And again, as you can see, the reason why we're getting all of these thunderstorms in the Omaha area, but as you see, we're at the same temperature I think we've been at just about all day long, 45 degrees. It's very cold, and despite it being unstable enough to produce these thunderstorms and very prolific rain producers, we're just not, there's not enough fuel in the atmosphere to really send these into a severe criteria anywhere near the Omaha metro area. Where that severe thunderstorm watch is in effect right now, that is where the energy lies. And I'll go ahead and draw this line for you here again. But there is a frontal boundary that's set up right around here. And sometimes this is a warm front, sometimes this is a cold front. I'm going to go ahead and draw it as a stationary boundary because it's just not moving that much. If it moves to the north, it's a warm front. If it moves to the south, it's a cold front because we're in the cold sector here to the north of it. They're in the warm sector there to the south of it. And the temperature difference is striking, to say the least. Here in Omaha, as we said, it is 44 degrees downtown right now. Down in the Beatrice and Rockport and Falls City area, we're getting reports of temperatures in the 60s. Even upper 70s have been reported along the Nebraska-Kansas border. They've seen sunshine today, a very unstable air mass that is now producing these strong to severe thunderstorms, and likely will continue to do so through the rest of the evening hours. We're just monitoring the overall pattern of these storms as they move through the area. Again, because if you were joining us about an hour or so ago, most of these storms along the border were moving to the north and east and looked like they were going to be impacting the Beatrice area very soon. Now they've taken a turn to the east-southeast. And just not really getting any indication that they're moving deeper into our area. Now, that could change, and that is what we're going to be keeping an eye on here during our coverage. Now, as we zoom in, you can see very prolific hail reports coming in from this kind of cluster of severe thunderstorms beginning to become a little more linear, and I wonder if that is when we're going to see these storms continue to move a little more southerly and possibly begin to produce some strong wind gusts as well. But right now, the only reports we've received is the large hail. And it looks like the most recent report, we just got three or four new reports that just came in. 1 inch diameter hail reported in Washington, Kansas. I just want to make it clear that that is Washington, Kansas. Also getting a report of 1 1/4 inch hail, or about a $half sized in Morrowville, again in Kansas. Also got a report of 1 1/2 inch diameter hail in Cuba and Haddam. And then also, this is our little query device here is kind of popping up all over the place. 1 3/4 inch or golf ball sized hail in Agenda, Kansas. So a lot of very large hail reports coming in with these storms. I'm going to go ahead and switch this over to the live radar so we can get a better look at these storms. There we go. And yeah, it's just this kind of somewhat discombobulated cluster of severe thunderstorms developing all over the place. And right now, I think with the exception of, no, it looks like that's been canceled. We now have no severe thunderstorm warnings in Nebraska at this time. That is a relatively new development, but we continue to see development all over this area as these cells kind of pulse up and down, redevelop, and as they collapse, they bring down a lot of large hail. And unfortunately, we're seeing that large hail actually occur more than once in the same area as these storms are kind of training on one another right now. And certainly when it comes to hail, that does nobody any favors. We could still see additional development to the north. We are tracking a lot of outflow boundaries that are floating around out there from the thunderstorms in our area earlier today. And those could be trigger points for additional showers and thunderstorms. As we come back up to the metro area, there you see the showers and thunderstorms pushing through our area. Again, these are not severe. They are just very prolific hail and lightning producers as they push through the area. One of our viewers on YouTube says pea-sized hail in Bellevue. Yeah, that is certainly possible, but I do want to stress that is not severe, but very possible with these at least strong thunderstorms that you can get some small hail, but pea-sized hail really doesn't do any damage. That's the good news. Let's go ahead. I'll go ahead and throw the hail detector on here, and we'll see what the radar is detecting in this cell. And this looks like an old scan. So this was likely before the hail fell in Bellevue. So yeah, this is a pretty large but very weak hail signature, but certainly could be a sign of some pea-sized hail that fell in the Bellevue area. So thank you for that report. We really appreciate it. And the good news is hopefully that didn't do any damage, just made for a little bit of noise on the roof and the windows for a little while. As we back out here, another stronger cell north of the Louisville area, southeast of the I-80 corridor. We'll go ahead and take a quick look at this area, and not really seeing any indication of any hail coming from these storms. Just that little pocket, and that is actually a new scan that just came in as that hail core kind of, passed by the Bellevue area. Yeah, so some small hail likely did fall in that area as it crossed the Missouri River and now pushes off towards Silver City. So again, there is the potential for some pea, maybe even marble-sized hail with some of these thunderstorms in the greater metro area. But again, that is well below severe limits and shouldn't cause any major damage issues across our area. That threat still lies well to our south and west, where we are seeing these severe thunderstorms develop one after the other, and now turning to the south and east. So at least for the near future, that is keeping the severe threat low in southern Nebraska as these storms are maintaining their intensity, producing some very prolific hail cores. In fact, we're seeing a lot of significant hail cores. This one that has a history of producing golf ball-sized hail, really getting up there close to 2-inch diameter hail in the atmosphere. It doesn't mean that's the size of the hail that's reaching the ground, but a very strong hail core in that as well. If we move that around, you can see there's an even stronger hail core being detected with another cell that we'll have to keep an eye on. But fortunately, it looks like it is heading away from Nebraska, where there could be hail upwards of 2-inch in diameter. With this, that'd be getting close to, I believe, egg-shaped sized hail. And I don't imagine we're going to be seeing some very small hail cores. Another potential 1-inch hail producer here north of Belleville, right along the Nebraska-Kansas border. But again, these storms continue now to push off to the east-southeast, and that is really limiting the impact on Nebraska, as they just have not really pushed into the northern part of that severe thunderstorm watch here, where Beatrice and Pawnee City and Tecumseh, Auburn, Falls City under that severe thunderstorm watch until 11 o'clock tonight. I know with thunderstorms in the Omaha area all day long, makes you wonder why we're not seeing severe weather here. And as I've been saying all afternoon and evening, if you just step outside, you can feel why the severe threat here is extremely low. 44 degrees right now, as you see at the bottom of your screen in downtown Omaha. And so we are unstable enough to produce severe weather. We are not unstable enough to produce showers and thunderstorms, excuse me. But we are not unstable enough to produce any meaningful severe weather. It is just not conducive on this side of that frontal boundary that is set up shop to our south. But there is a lot of instability to our south. But up here, we just continue to get round after round of general to strong thunderstorms. And really the biggest issue with those is that they're very noisy. And as you can see here, they do produce a lot of lightning. We have seen countless cloud to ground strikes throughout the day, beginning early this morning here in the Omaha area. And that just continues as we continue to go through the evening and overnight hours. Now, when will this all finally push out of here? We will have to see, but the threat of showers and thunderstorms in the metro area will continue well into the evening likely. But again, we're not very concerned about any severe weather outside of perhaps a potential of a limited potential for a very isolated large hail report. Let's go back out now down to southern Nebraska, where we're monitoring these severe thunderstorms just across the border from us. And we'll go ahead and zoom in on that area where, boy, by my count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 severe thunderstorm warnings continue. Right now, all we're getting reports of in these storms is severe hail, ranging from anywhere from 1 inch in diameter to 1 3/4 inch in diameter. So you're talking about nickel coin sized upwards to about golf ball sized hail falling in many of these storms. And unfortunately, we've seen a couple of communities that have seen 2 rounds of severe hail falling through the area. But again, the good news so far is that is remaining south of the border with Nebraska. But it does remain a potential tonight of additional development as we move through the evening and even into the overnight hours. It really just depends on when this trough kind of exits the area as it's interacting with that stationary front, which we believe right now is still north of Beatrice and Rockport. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to temperatures here, and we'll see if that is in fact the case, as we should be just getting some new reports in. And there you see the latest radar image, and let's go ahead and take a look at those temperatures. And it has cooled off a bit in Beatrice. I don't know if that's because the frontal boundary has moved or because they've received some showers in that area. May have cooled the atmosphere a bit. But Falls City in southeast Nebraska remains at 75 degrees, Maryville at 63. And so it still looks like that frontal boundary is out there and really hugging the northern portion of this severe thunderstorm watch. So there is where we believe the boundary is right now. And so areas to the north of this boundary are seeing plenty of showers and thunderstorms. Radar's detected over 3 inches of rain falling in parts of the metro area. But south of that is where the greater instability lies. And there are some good wind profiles down there that could produce some rotating storms. We just haven't seen them yet. Right now, it has just been hail-producing storms just outside of our viewing area. But we do continue to monitor the potential that some of these storms could become severe, especially along that boundary in south. It could get a little bit north and perhaps threaten some areas like Lincoln and Nebraska City with some hail. But so far, that does not appear to be happening, and that is good news. Hopefully that will continue. But again, the threat on the south side of that boundary remains right now. And north of that, we're just looking at mainly some noisy showers and thunderstorms through the evening hours tonight. Hopefully this will finally move out. We will have a quiet day tomorrow. We will see more showers and thunderstorms Saturday evening. Some of those we could see some isolated severe weather, but that risk, again, still very, very low. We don't expect any major severe weather outbreaks on Saturday. Sunday, hopefully we'll stay quiet. Could see some isolated showers and thunderstorms. And then Monday is the day where we are looking, especially the central and eastern portions of our viewing area, and then further east into western Iowa and central Iowa, where we could see a very organized, very large severe weather outbreak, and the potential of all modes of severe weather, strong damaging winds, large hail, and possible tornadoes, all being on the table. Again, that for Monday. And of course, that's still a long ways out. We will, of course, bring you the latest updates every day on First Alert 6 as that approaches when we get them. Again, if anybody has any questions or any weather that you see in your neck of the woods, feel free to share it with us. You can comment on this Facebook post with our live stream, as well as on our live chat on YouTube. We're happy to hear from you. We're happy to answer any questions you might have about what's going on tonight. All right, we're going to go ahead and go back to live First Alert radar here. As you see, the showers and thunderstorms continue in the metro. Severe thunderstorms continue right along the Kansas-Nebraska border, but so far the severe threat does remain south of that border. We are keeping an eye on the Beatrice area, as we are seeing some showers and thunderstorms begin to develop north of the border. We'll throw this in motion and show you what we mean. Right now, we're not seeing any indication that these storms are about to produce severe weather. This is quite a distance from the radar site, though, so we will be monitoring that. And if you notice in the last few frames here, you do have one cell that is kind of moving northward and another cell that is moving due eastward. So you see from Odell here, you see this storm cell, this large storm cell kind of moving to the east. And then oh, that doesn't look good. Let's try that again. So you have this system moving, this cell moving to the east, and then you have this cell that pops out of Maryville that is moving to the north. So we're going to see a cell interaction. It's just beginning here near the border. I'm going to go ahead and stop this. And so this is the area where these cells are Oh, that's weird. This is the area where those cells are going to interact. And so we will see what that produces in this area. If this could get these storms going and reaching severe limits into our viewing area, the very southern portion of our viewing area. That is what we'll be watching here over the next hour or two. But again, right now, the severe weather remains south of the Nebraska border. We did have some hail and some warnings south of the Oak area earlier this afternoon and evening. But now these storms are largely moving to the south and east, with the exception of these two over here southeast of Beatrice, between Wymore and Marysville, Kansas, I should say. And once these cells interact, we'll see what happens. They could kind of cancel each other out, or they could potentially spin up into a much stronger cell as well. But we will see what happens with that over the next 15 minutes or so. Again, this is the portion of our viewing area that's under a severe thunderstorm watch until 11 o'clock tonight. We'll go ahead and throw the loop on this, and you can see that watch. There you see all of the warnings in Kansas right now, and that watch does include Beatrice, Rockport, Maryville, and Falls City until 11 o'clock tonight, unless we hear differently from the Storm Prediction Center, if they decide that that threat no longer exists. But for right now, that watch does remain in effect. Checking to see if we have any updates in from the Storm Prediction Center. It looks like we got one almost an hour ago. The potential for severe hail and wind will continue to increase across north central to northeast Kansas over the next couple of hours as thunderstorm coverage increases and clustering occurs. Uptick in thunderstorm coverage amid a localized increase in ascent near the surface driven by a modest uptick in southerly winds. More isolated developing supercells are also noted in central Kansas. Still concerned about some isolated supercells capable of producing much larger hail. Could see hail upwards of 2 inches in diameter. We have seen some reports around 1 3/4 so far. Do still expect additional thunderstorm development over the next few hours. And they do expect, as the more thunderstorms develop, especially after sunset, that could increase the wind threat. But right now, if I'm reading the Storm Prediction Center right, they're beginning to lose concern for southern Nebraska. The boundary, according to the Storm Prediction Center, has moved further to the south now. And I'm going to show you here where they believe it is. Basically, these storms in northern Kansas are very, very close to that frontal boundary. And they are indicating that that boundary is on the west side, moving to the south. And so that means that it is partially a cold front. And it's partially, where it is not moving, a stationary front. So this is where they have the boundary right now, and that would certainly suggest why we are not seeing these storms move any further to the north. The stronger storms here to the south of the front appears to be along a surface trough, and that is what is triggering these storms right now, well to the south of Nebraska, and that is certainly, I apologize for that being so big there. That's a dry line out to the west, whereas some of the storms further to the south are developing. I'm going to go ahead and take that off the screen because that's just too wonky looking. But as you can see here, this appears to be the focus of the new development now, well to the south of Nebraska. We're still seeing development along the cold front, but the fact that it's a cold front tells me that the Storm Prediction Center is seeing this front move to the south. And if it's moving to the south, that reduces the severe risk up here in Beatrice and points to the north. Still can't rule it out, But that is a sign that the threat for severe weather tonight is beginning to subside, even in some of the areas under that watch now until 11 o'clock. But again, this is a very slow moving boundary, and much of it has not moved for some time. It could begin sliding a little bit to the north, but right now it appears the Storm Prediction Center is focusing their concern on the Kansas side of this. And so that may begin to reduce the threat for more areas of our viewing area over the next hour or two. But again, we'll keep an eye on things, and we'll continue to monitor this as we continue to get additional development to the north of this boundary. Now you see those thunderstorms developing in the Nebraska City area. We'll go ahead and take a look at those in just a moment. Oops. We're going to go ahead and switch now to live first alert radar, and now we'll zoom in. And there you see those showers and thunderstorms stretching from Plattsmouth down to Nebraska City. Again, these are still well below severe limits, but could see some very small hail embedded in these storms as they push through the area. There you see all of the new hail reports now well to the south of the Nebraska border, as right now we're just not seeing any strong thunderstorm development in southern Nebraska. We could still see some very, very far down here south of Beatrice, but unless that front starts moving to the north, I don't think we're going to see any organized severe weather in our immediate area tonight. One more time, we'll go ahead and zoom in here on the Metro as well as Atlantic, Red Oak area, and you can see these lines of strong thunderstorms, capable of producing some very small hail, and I don't believe they're producing any major gusty winds. We'll double check that here. And no, just not seeing anything in the way of any gusty winds. Right now, the radar detecting at best maybe some wind gusts upwards of about 40 miles per hour, but that's about it. Very, very broad rotation in some areas. I don't think that's of any major concern for the area, but again, these wind gusts are at best approaching maybe 40 miles an hour, well below severe limits, as these lines of strong thunderstorms are now beginning to bow out a bit. But again, there is just not enough out there to suggest that these are capable of producing any severe weather at this time. We'll go ahead and put this in motion for you now from the last hour, and you can see their progress south of the metro area. Again, we still see continual development off to the west, nothing severe at this time in central parts of our viewing area in the metro. But again, continue to see development. There you see new thunderstorms developing from Nebraska City west towards Lincoln. But again, none of these are expected to reach severe limits tonight as the thunderstorms continue to push off to the east and south. And fingers crossed, maybe now that we're seeing a little bit more of a southerly trend with our severe thunderstorms staying just south of Nebraska, maybe we'll see some of this precipitation exit the area a little sooner than originally expected. We would certainly like that, as We do need the moisture, but we've gotten plenty of moisture here in the metro area. Some areas potentially receiving upwards of 2 to 3 inches or more in the metro area during the day today. Over on YouTube, Lakota asks, what about the Omaha area? Well, Lakota, the threat is barely there. We've been seeing showers and thunderstorms all day, but we've also been seeing some very, very cold conditions, and the atmosphere is just not primed for severe weather at all. We've seen the closest we've seen all day, including a short time ago from one of our viewers in Bellevue, is some pea-sized hail that will not do any damage. But right now it is just too cold, and I don't want to say it's stable. It's more stable, but still unstable enough that we've just been seeing round after round of thunderstorms in the area, but nothing like what we're seeing to the south. Cheyenne asking, oops, didn't mean to put that up there. Cheyenne asking about Lincoln as well. I'm going to show you why Lincoln seems to be doing okay as well. I'm going to switch this over to temperatures right now, and I'm going to keep the radar up. So here's a look at the radar right now, and here's a look at the temperatures across the area. And what we're noticing is 40s and 50s, very cold air mass in place, with the exception of Maryville and Falls City, where we're now seeing temperatures in the 60s. And still right now in Falls City at 7:30, it is 75 degrees. I'm going to draw this on the map so you can see what I'm talking about here. But this is the issue that we're dealing with, and this is why the strong thunderstorms are remaining well to our south. Beatrice and points to the east are under a severe thunderstorm watch until 11 o'clock. It was pretty warm in Beatrice not that long ago, but it has cooled off considerably now, and I don't think it's just because of showers in the area. What appears to be happening is we have a rather potent frontal boundary that is separating the air masses in our area. Let's see if I can fix this so it is correct. Unfortunately, I can't do that. So here's what I'm going to do. This is, we're now calling this a cold front here because it has moved further to the south. That's why Beatrice has seen their temperature plummet in the last couple of hours. But further to the east, this remains a stationary boundary. And so this is where you're seeing just the far southeastern part of our viewing area remaining in that warm sector. This entire boundary is separating the cold air mass from the warm air mass, and so that is why you're seeing all of these thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms, developing south of the boundary. Now on this side, and I say that as if you can see my mouse, but on this side of the boundary is now moving south. And so it is, because it's moving away from the cold air and pushing it further to the south, that's why I'm drawing this as a cold front, is because it is advancing the cold air further to the south, and that has stabilized the atmosphere in the Beatrice area. Over here, the boundary remains stationary. It is not moving. If it were to move to the north, we'd call it a warm front. If it moves to the south, we'd call it a cold front. And so that is the area that is, that entire boundary, whether a cold front, stationary front, or anything in between, that is separating the cold and warm air masses right now. And where it remains warm and unstable, that is where the severe thunderstorms are happening. We were watching these storms produce very prolific hail and heading right for Beatrice. And all of a sudden they began to take a turn from the northeast to the southeast, and that is because that cold front began advancing to the south and turned these storms away from Nebraska. So right now, the severe threat, even in the watch area, is beginning to lower. And so the greatest risk, I don't want to say anyone in the watch is out of the woods because some of these storms could still develop along the front and move north of the front and produce some large hail. But right now, the greatest threat in our area still exists in the Falls City and Maryville areas where they remain in the warm sector of this storm. And if this frontal boundary continues to slowly drift to the south, that is going to continue to reduce the threat for severe weather in our viewing area. Omaha Metro, Lincoln Metro right now doesn't appear to be any risk for any severe weather with the exception of an isolated large hail. But again, that is a very low risk, not even enough to issue a slight risk for severe weather, not enough, certainly not enough to issue a severe thunderstorm watch for this area. And that is why the watch is south of this boundary, and the boundary is now moving even further to the south. And that is why places like Beatrice now look like they may avoid this severe weather tonight. Can't rule it out yet, but the progress of this boundary is reducing the chances of severe weather in our viewing area here in eastern Nebraska and northwest Missouri. Now, that doesn't mean we won't see showers and thunderstorms tonight. They do continue, and we will see how long they continue for. But if this boundary is beginning to move, that may bring those chances to an end a little sooner than we were worried about, even just for general thunderstorms. But for right now, that is the change that has happened, and that is beginning to reduce the risk for severe weather, even in southeastern Nebraska. So hopefully that all makes sense to everybody. I know you're worried about Lincoln and Omaha and where most of our viewers are, but right now things, even with showers and thunderstorms, are just too cold and too stable to produce any kind of severe weather in our area, with the exception of maybe some very small hail, which one of our viewers reported in Bellevue a short time ago, and we've seen in the metro area as well earlier today, but nothing that would cause any damage from hail falling. All right, we'll go back now to live first alert radar as we watch these general showers and thunderstorms continue to push off to the east-southeast from the metro area. Still some pockets of showers and thunderstorms continuing to redevelop like they have all day. We'd love to see that come to an end as we've gotten more than our fair share of precipitation today. The severe threat still, for now, remains to the south of Nebraska as the frontal boundary that is separating the cold and warm air has now begun pushing to the south, and that is pushing the severe weather with it. So severe thunderstorm watch, however, does remain in effect for the next 3.5 hours for the counties shaded in yellow until 11 o'clock tonight. For now, this does include Beatrice, Rockport, Maryville, and Falls City. We do have showers and thunderstorms approaching this area, but it's just really unclear if they're going to maintain intensity or if they're going to be able to interact with that more unstable air. So really, right now, it's Falls City and Rockport and points east that we're most concerned about, just that very southeastern edge of our viewing area, and the threat continuing to lower as these storms now are beginning to push further to the south than anticipated. In fact, we should be getting some new model runs in here shortly, and let me see if we do have one of our new model runs in. Take a look at this here. This was earlier today. And yeah, I'm not really seeing any indication that we have much to worry about other than continuing showers and thunderstorms. We should be getting some more model runs in here shortly, some of the more high resolution models that really try and hone in on the patterns in the thunderstorm development. Let me see if any of those are coming in yet. No, they are not. But we will keep an eye out for those as we push through the rest of the evening hours until this severe threat does subside for our area. One of our viewers on YouTube says was really dark here in Plattsmouth not too long ago. Yeah, that would check out with the thunderstorms. Obviously, with the sun setting in the west, that can certainly make the clouds look a lot darker than they would at other parts of the day. Fortunately, though, none of this is severe in the Plattsmouth or Omaha areas, and no severe weather right now in any part of Nebraska. And we will see if that holds for the rest of the evening. We do still have that severe thunderstorm watch until 11 o'clock, however, for areas of Nebraska due west of Missouri. Again, I want to thank everyone for joining us on our 24/7 weather channel, as well as our streaming channel on our website. We're also streaming to you on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. And if you have any questions, feel free to share them in our chat, especially on YouTube. And if you're watching us on Facebook, in the comments section on this post. We'd love to hear what you're seeing. And if you have any questions, please let us know as well, because we're at this point, without a lot of severe weather, we're happy to answer those questions for you, as this is really kind of the unofficial kickoff to a very, very active weather pattern for the greater upper Midwest. And so we are anticipating additional rounds of strong to severe thunderstorms in our area over the next several days. We should get a break tomorrow. We'll hopefully get a break on Sunday. Saturday, we could see some very isolated pockets of severe weather. And then Monday is where we are most concerned of seeing some severe weather across our area. We are anticipating some new model runs to come in shortly, and we will see if they pick up on some of the changes we're seeing in the pattern of these storms, as the western part of our viewing area is seeing that frontal boundary begin to move south as a cold front, and it appears that has really reduced the risk for severe weather for areas like Beatrice and east. But I do want to stress that a severe thunderstorm watch does remain in effect until 11 o'clock. There you see the last hour. We are seeing the non-severe thunderstorms in the Shenandoah and Nebraska City area beginning to push a little stronger to the south, or at least redevelop a little more to the south. We'll go ahead and zoom in on that area here for you. And there you see that what may be an outflow boundary there, pushing the new development of showers and thunderstorms further to the south. Now that is still, despite this approaching the watch area, I believe areas of Tecumseh, Auburn, and Rockport may now be north of the boundary, and it may be in the cold sector. But if not, and if these storms continue to plunge to the south, we could see the boundary that's kind of setting off these storms by Nebraska City interact with that boundary, and we could see some new development. So these same areas still under the gun for some severe thunderstorm development here over the next couple of hours, and that is going to be the focus of our attention as we push deeper into the evening hours. Just to give you an idea of what we're expecting, we should get an update from the Storm Prediction Center on the severe risk tonight coming up at the top of the hour. And then in the next 30 minutes or so, we should begin getting some new model data indicating where these storms may go and how they may develop over the next several hours. So that's what we're standing by for. We've been going here for another hour, so I think we're going to go ahead and take a break, and we will see you shortly at the top of the hour. Until then, we will leave the radar up so you can see what's happening out there. And if new alerts are issued, we will certainly be back here with you. But for now, we'll leave the radar up and join you in a few minutes.
Live from WOWT, this is a First Alert 6 weather day.
And good evening again, everyone. Nick Weig here at the Alert Center as we are continuing to track the threat for severe weather, a threat that appears to be easing a bit, even in the southeast portion of our viewing area, as we're getting some new information from the Storm Prediction Center. And part of the boundary separating the cold and warm air masses, part of that has actually moved south. It hasn't moved north. And so the threat for severe weather is beginning to be steered away from Nebraska. So good news, especially for those of you who may be joining us in that severe thunderstorm watch area. Let's go ahead and take you out live now to First Alert Radar, and you can see the showers and thunderstorms that continue south of the metro area, east of the Lincoln area. We're seeing new development all the time, and this is really the only area we're concerned about right now as we are watching some of these outflow dominant thunderstorms that continue to develop but not become severe. But they're along an outflow boundary that is soon to be interacting with the frontal boundary. The only question is, where is that frontal boundary? And at last report, it was still north of some of our southeasternmost counties, but we're going to find out together if that's still the case. And really the best way we can find out is by taking a look at the current temperatures, and hopefully we've got the new 8 o'clock readings in. So we're going to take a look at this. This is a still image still of the radar right now, and as we bring those in, yeah, I would say that frontal boundary has now begun moving all the way to the south, and that is good news for us. So I do want to stress there is still a severe thunderstorm watch that remains in effect until 11 o'clock for our southernmost counties in the viewing area. But to be perfectly honest, now we see temperatures down in the mid to upper 50s all the way down to Falls City and Maryville. That tells me that that warm air mass behind the frontal boundary has now pushed south further into Missouri and into Kansas, and that will greatly reduce any potential for severe weather tonight. So officially, that severe thunderstorm watch, and we'll get it up here on your screen. Severe thunderstorm watch does remain in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. We'll see if it makes it that long, because it looks like our frontal boundary has begun to push off to the south, and that is going to greatly reduce the risk for severe weather. Let's go ahead and switch over to the Omaha radar. There we go, and you can see what we're talking about. We had these thunderstorms now in northern Kansas, right along the Kansas-Nebraska border, moving northeast towards Beatrice. And about an hour and a half ago, they shifted direction and began moving southeast, and that was kind of the telltale sign that this frontal boundary that had been stationary had begun to move. I'm going to apologize in advance because I know that the icons on this front are going to be in the wrong direction. I can't fix that. But this frontal boundary has been moving to the south, and now this appears to be where it's at. And because it has moved further to the south, those areas where we saw upper 70s just a short time ago have now plunged below 60 degrees, and that is really going to inhibit any potential for severe weather, even in those southernmost counties under that severe thunderstorm watch. That doesn't mean that it's a 0% risk. It's just a reduced risk. I'd say the primary threat now may be some isolated large hail, but thunder showers and thunderstorms can continue to develop across this area. It just appears right now that the main threat for severe weather now exists in Kansas and Missouri. Let's go ahead and zoom in on our area here as we switch back to live First Alert radar. And you can see these showers and thunderstorms entering the watch area in the Rockport and Auburn areas. Again, none of these are severe, and they're now moving into some, what appears to be some, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can switch radar sites here. I don't think I can. But appears to be moving into an area where additional development is happening along that frontal boundary south of Nebraska. And so if any of these storms were to become severe, it would be in the very, very farthest extremes of our viewing area in the next hour. So the good news is the severe threat appears to be easing off a little bit. And I'll show you what I mean. Let's go ahead and take a look. We just got the latest severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. And as you can see, they have virtually eliminated Nebraska. In fact, I believe they, just about eliminated Nebraska from this slight risk for severe weather, or Category 2. Just the extreme southeastern 3 counties in Nebraska now remain in that slight risk. And based on the temperatures in Falls City, I don't believe that the risk is that high. because by all accounts, it appears the frontal boundary has moved south of Nebraska. We'll go ahead and put that back on the screen for you here. I believe the boundary is right in this area. And so even though there does remain a slight risk in the latest outlook tonight and into the overnight, that is now north of the frontal boundary, and it is now very much in the cold air mass. So this area, although still a slight risk for severe weather, I think that risk has greatly reduced. And if any threat exists, it would be for large hail. That would be my Uncle Jim in Monticello. It appears next week could be active, especially Monday to Wednesday. What do you think, Nick? Well, this is going to be one of the most active weather patterns in years across the country, and we're going to get in on some of it, at least here in our area. Let's go ahead and zoom out here to the viewing area, and we're going to go through these one by one. This is the risk for tomorrow. No risk for severe weather across the First Alert 6 viewing area, as the storms should remain well to our south. Saturday, and we're going to see, we may see an update to this. We'll get an update on this very early tomorrow morning. But right now, just a very, very low-end risk for isolated severe thunderstorms, especially closer to sunset Saturday night. We will be monitoring that, of course. And then the greater risk exists further out, days 4, 5, and 6. Sunday, we hope to stay away from the severe weather, although we could have some showers and thunderstorms. But Monday appears to be the main event for the greater upper Midwest. On Monday, we are looking at a pretty significant part of our viewing area, as well as Iowa and Missouri, and points to the north and south. This is where we're concerned about. Yeah, you can't draw on that line, can you? This is where we're concerned about a more organized severe weather event on Monday that we're going to be monitoring. And then Tuesday, that severe threat will continue well to our east and central and eastern Iowa. And then even beyond that, and this is getting beyond the scope of the Storm Prediction Center right now, we are looking at a very active weather pattern stretching into next week, next weekend, and possibly beyond. This is going, for the greater United States, this is going to be a very significant stretch of severe weather. But for us, we won't get in on all of it, but we're going to get in on some of it. And so especially on Monday, for areas especially east of Waterloo and Wahoo, I would say that all modes of severe weather right now are possible on Monday. Saturday, again, maybe some isolated strong winds and some large hail possible, but very, very isolated, if at all, on Saturday. So that is what we're keeping an eye on right now in the long term. Austin says small hail over in Council Bluffs. Austin, yeah, that is certainly checking out with what we've been seeing on live First Alert radar. We'll go ahead and switch that back here so you're not just staring at a green screen there. There we go. Oh, that's the velocity. Here we go. So these showers and thunderstorms kind of back building on one another, and another one has passed through parts of the metro area, and there you see Council Bluffs. I'll go ahead and put a hail tracker on this. And yeah, we can just see some very, very faint signatures of hail cores. And really, if anything, as if Austin mentioned that small hail in Council Bluffs, yeah, I mean, these storms are still dealing with a lot of cool air aloft. And even though they're not severe, they can still produce maybe pea to marble-sized hail that certainly it can create a lot of noise, but can't really create a lot of damage to any persons or belongings outside. So there you see the cell exiting the Council Bluffs area right along the I-80 corridor in the Highway 6 region of western Iowa. We do have some stronger cells here southwest of Plattsmouth, east of Lincoln, that we're keeping an eye on for some small hail. But again, other than lightning and some pretty intense downpours, I would say the severe risk is quickly eroding here in southeastern Nebraska and northwest Missouri, as that frontal boundary, which could have really gone either way. It could have pushed storms further to the north or the south. It appears that it is pushing storms further to the south. That is really limiting any chance of severe weather in our viewing area tonight. Over on YouTube, what about northwestern Omaha? I saw in the SPC Outlook for the 4 to 7 days, there's a chance of severe weather. If you said that, could you repeat it? Yeah, I did. I apologize. I can't really get the graphics up for you, but that is something that we're going to be keeping an eye on. This is really, as I said, the beginning of a very, very active period for the entire United States, where we could see weeks of severe weather every day somewhere in the United States. We are going to get in on some of that, but not all of that. So what we're looking at right now is this very marginal severe weather risk for the rest of the evening tonight, but really beginning to subside, it looks like. We could see some showers. I believe largely they should stay away. We could see some isolated showers tomorrow, but again, no risk for severe weather in the viewing area tomorrow. Then on Saturday, especially as we close in on the evening hours on Saturday, we could see some isolated severe weather as some showers and thunderstorms move southwest to northeast through the areas. That southwest flow gets back going. But again, right now, other than maybe some isolated large hail or maybe a strong wind gust or two, we're not expecting any organized severe weather Saturday night, but could see the potential for some strong to severe storms in isolated areas. Sunday, again, if we have any showers, hopefully those will stay below severe limits right now. Again, we'll get new updates from the Storm Prediction Center very early tomorrow morning. We'll also get an update on the extended period, those days 4 to 8 that you just mentioned. And right now, Monday looks to be the most significant shot for severe weather in our forecast for eastern Nebraska and western Iowa. And right now, we are looking at the potential of a much more organized severe weather event that could include all modes of severe weather on Monday for much of our viewing area, especially areas of the Omaha Metro and points east into Iowa. Large hail, strong damaging winds, and tornadoes would be on the menu for any severe weather outbreak in our area on Monday. That will also create significant severe weather pushing into Iowa. For people in central and eastern Iowa, that will likely mean a greater risk for strong damaging winds as supercells developing in Nebraska and Iowa will begin to congeal into more of a Boeing segment. And then beyond that, it really remains to be seen. Tuesday, we should be out of the severe weather risk as that pushes off into central and eastern Iowa. But then beyond that, there are some days after Tuesday where we could see some strong to severe thunderstorms as we push into the latter half of next week and into next weekend. But again, that is so far out right now, it is far too soon to actually say that there is a forecasted risk for severe weather. Just remember that this is going to be an exceptionally active period for the upper Midwest and the Great Plains, and it will not be uncommon to see 2 to 3 potential days of severe weather per week for the rest of the month as this continues to be an active period for the United States. So we will try and bring you as much information when we can. The entire weather team is tracking this around the clock, and we will bring you updates on our 24/7 streaming channel. We'll bring you updates on our website, firstalert6.com, and of course, during all of our newscasts on First Alert 6. And we will bring you as much live coverage on streaming and on our social media channels when the weather warrants. So that is what we are going to keep an eye out for right now. And I noticed that our ticker is blank. Oh, we are in the wrong radar scene. That would be why. There we go. Okay, the ticker is blank. And the reason for that is the severe thunderstorm watch that was in effect for southern Nebraska until 11 o'clock has been canceled. They have taken Nebraska out of the severe thunderstorm watch. We do have some fringe counties in northwest Missouri that remain under that watch, so we're going to keep an eye on that. And the reason is because these storms that are very outflow dominant, exiting southwest Iowa and Nebraska and entering northwest Missouri, do have the potential of becoming severe as they get closer to that frontal boundary that may still be around the Maryville, Mound City area, but it does not appear that that is the case. But because thunderstorms are still in the area, the severe thunderstorm watch continues for northwestern Missouri. I don't think that there is a significant threat for severe weather in that area. I think they just want to, out of an abundance of caution, in case some of these storms moving through are capable of producing some isolated large hail. But I would say at this point, that threat is well to our south in Kansas and approaching the Kansas City area. And of course, the Storm Prediction Center will have to make a decision on what they do, as this is now already exiting the severe thunderstorm watch area in Kansas and Missouri. It appears that they have not made a decision whether or not they will continue this severe thunderstorm watch further to the east, but it is possible they won't, as the dynamics further to the east are not that great. But we could see an extension of that, but again, nowhere near our area, which is very, very good news. Let's go ahead and back out here as we move back into our area. Again, we continually see showers and thunderstorms develop on the back side of this, as we just have boundaries all over the place and surface troughs that are interacting that keep producing these storms. That's why we've seen in excess of 2 inches of rain throughout the day here in the metro area. Could be some isolated higher amounts, but some of those higher amounts that the radar has detected likely polluted with some of the small hail that has fallen periodically in the metro area today. But again, we're continuing to monitor those showers and thunderstorms. Now they're developing east of Interstate 80 between Omaha and Lincoln. That's good news. And hopefully that will be that. We do have some new model runs that will be coming in shortly that will be checking to see if we are expecting any more thunderstorm development tonight. But even if we are, I feel very safe in saying that nothing that develops later tonight would pose any severe risk in our area. We are getting some new model data in from the High Resolution Rapid Refresh, or the HER model, which is one of the most higher resolution models we have. And it appears that this, as these showers and thunderstorms exit our viewing area, that is it. We should have a quiet night in store. So if you got rocked awake a time or two last night because of the thunderstorms in the metro area, it will be much quieter tonight. That is the good news. But our focus then it turns to a quiet Friday, and then beginning to look at what we can expect for your Saturday. And that is going to be the next big question to be answered. So we may get some answers here shortly as that HER model continues to come in, as well as additional models later tonight and into tomorrow morning. And we will get new severe weather outlooks early tomorrow morning from the Storm Prediction Center. We're not going to wait around for that, don't worry. But we're going to stay with you here for a little bit as these thunderstorms move through this southeastern portion of our viewing area. Austin over on YouTube, Monday and Tuesday look like big days. Yeah, they do in some respects. Monday especially looks like a big day as I cover myself up. That's fine. Monday and Tuesday do look, or Monday especially looks like a big day. Tuesday, likely a big day, but not likely in our area. That's the good news. And as active as it's going to be across the country in the central United States, the one saving grace is, unlike some other areas, we're not going to be part of that risk as often as some other parts of the country are going to be. That's the good news, because this really is shaping up to be a very active pattern. And back here in traditional Tornado Alley, as opposed to Dixie Alley, as we call it now, further to the east and south, we're getting a lot of activity in areas that haven't really seen as much in recent years. And it just has to do with the weather patterns. I know a lot of my friends and colleagues in the weather and storm chasing business have been looking at analog patterns and long-range patterns to figure out what was going to happen this year. And this is pretty close to what those analogs were predicting, that we would have a very active second half of April into May, but then things may begin to quiet down in what is usually the peak severe weather season in mid to late May, which by then I think we're going to be wanting a break from the severe weather if this pattern holds for the next several weeks. So we will have much more information on First Alert 6 and firstalert6.com in the days ahead about the risks on Saturday, Monday, and potentially Tuesday, although I think that one may hopefully stay to the east of us. But we will talk more about that as the data becomes a little bit clearer. The closer we get, the higher resolution models will begin to get a better look at this, and really curious to see what we can decipher from them. All of the models have different views on what's happening. They interpret data differently, and every forecaster has to pick their favorite or the one they think is the most accurate. And in this case, we were a little worried about more severe weather in our area because that is what the models were forecasting for tonight. That did a really good job with the thunderstorms this morning, but it turns out just being right this morning didn't make them correct tonight, as the frontal boundary, which they thought may begin to move a little bit to the north and produce more severe weather in Nebraska, did the exact opposite and moved south and kept the severe weather well to our south in Kansas. So we're really going to have to look at patterns, and anywhere where the models have any form of agreement, that is a good sign that confidence is strong for any particular severe weather event in any location. That is really what we hope to see. And to be honest, we haven't seen a lot of agreement among those models with these opening rounds of severe weather risks here in our area. Andreas over on YouTube, wind shear is not enough to form tornadoes, better chances next week. Yeah, I do agree with that. And that's obviously why the Storm Prediction Center opted for a thunderstorm watch. They were concerned, especially when these storms first developed, about some tornadic development. Because the wind parameters around that frontal boundary were conducive to tornadic development. But I think the fact that the thunderstorms, although kind of isolated, developed in kind of a disorganized cluster, I think that greatly reduced the potential for any tornado-producing supercells, and really reduced or cut that tornado risk to essentially zero earlier tonight. There is still a risk in Kansas for some isolated tornadoes, but again, I don't think that risk is nearly as great as they have for some strong damaging winds and some significantly large hail. We've seen some hail approaching 2 inches in diameter in northern Kansas, but again, none of that in our viewing area in Iowa, Nebraska, or Missouri. So we've gotten all of the data that we're going to be getting in the near future, and I really don't think that we're going to see any additional severe weather. If we get any warnings in northwest Missouri, we'll certainly break into that for you. But I think for now we're going to leave the radar up for a little bit here, and we're going to go ahead and begin to wrap up our coverage here on our streaming channels. If you do want to keep an eye on the radar as some of these showers and thunderstorms are moving through, we will keep the feed up on our 24/7 streaming channel. But I think for now we're going to wrap up our coverage on social media and on our main streaming channel, as the conditions just are not conducive anymore for severe weather or anything close to severe weather in our area. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap things up. And again, if you want to keep an eye on the live radar here for a little bit longer, we'll leave that up on our 24/7 streaming channel for about another hour or so. So with that, I think I am going to go ahead and say good evening to all of you, and hopefully you've enjoyed our coverage here online and on streaming, and we will certainly have more in the days ahead as the weather warrants, as we move through a very active weather pattern for the Great Plains and the Upper Midwest. So until then, thank you for joining us. From Omaha at the Alert Center, I'm Nick Weig.